All right, so you know what time it is.
Picks.
It's time for
Picks.
the SEC After Darks picks. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Up first, we're going to start with Arkansas hosting Cincinnati. Arkansas favored by 6 points. Steve, I'll start with you. Who are you picking?
Unbelievably offensive line dominant Arkansas team, 250-pound quarterback, 230-pound running back. I'm taking the Hogs in Fayetteville to roll.
Yeah, it's a line of scrimmage battle for me. It's going to be Arkansas in a freaking tidal wave.
Mm-hmm.
Jeb?
Yeah, I agree. I think replacing Treylon Burks is easier than replacing Desmond Ritter. So Arkansas is going to run away with this one.
Jake?
Yeah. Arkansas is going to win by 17.
And when Becky gets the Voice of God microphone, she'll make her picks, but I'll make them for her today. She picks Arkansas. Mm-hmm. Steve, Ole Miss host Troy University. They are 21.5-point favorites. They have an or situation at quarterback, even though we all know who that starter is. How do you see this one shaking out?
I think there's a chance that Ole Miss could go off on a slow start. I think it's a chance that Troy is going to try and slow the game down to where if you told me it was a 31-17 type game, I'd believe you. But I think Ole Miss covers this line fairly easily and starts to roll a little bit on their way to big boy football on October 1st when Kentucky rolls into town. Man, I never thought I'd say that. So,
I think Ole Miss, after about the third series, you're going to be scratching your head. But then that fourth series, they're going to crank it up and they're going to get it going. And I think they cover this thing by halftime. I think Ole Miss is going to roll. They're going to be an extremely explosive team. Defensively, they're going to shock you with some of the guys. Again, they're a high-risk, high-reward defense. They're going to be explosive on offense. I think they're going to do some big things. It's going to start this Saturday when they host Troy.
Yeah, I agree. I think Troy's going to end up being a pretty decent team this season. You just won't know it after week one because I think Ole Miss is going to just roll over. I'm taking them too.
Yeah, Troy's going to be good in the Fun Belt. Jake?
Yeah, I'm taking Ole Miss, and I think they cover easily.
And Becky picks Ole Miss as well. So the game we were just heavily debating about, Utah rolls in 2.5-point favorites into the Swamp to take on the Gators. Steve, what you got?
I think Florida is going to cover in this game. I think about midway through the second quarter, the sweat's going to be rolling off the arms of the Utah players. They're not going to know what's happening, what's going on. They're going to be uncomfortable. They're going to want to be somewhere else. And Florida is going to win this game by 1 point. This has got 28-27 written all over it.
Oh, wow.
I'm rolling with the Utes, man. I've got them as a playoff team. Coming out of the Pac-12. I just think that they have experience at quarterback. They have experience at the tailback position. They have some good talent defensively. Kyle Whittingham is going to have these boys ready to play. Can they handle the humidity? Well, they'll get used to it. But I think they're going to win by a field goal. I think they're going to cover, and a field goal does it. So it's going to be a tight game, obviously, but Utah's going to come out ahead in the end. Jeb?
I'm going to be honest. When I first saw this, I was so used to seeing the SEC teams being favored that I assumed that 2.5 was actually for Florida. But I've still taken the Utes. I'm gonna stick with them anyway, just because I think they're going to be a good team this season. They're already ready to go, or at least more ready to go. I'm not as big a believer that Florida will just be put together and rolling in this game. But I don't know. I could be wrong. We'll see. Maybe some of it's biased because I just don't like Florida, but we'll see. But I'm taking Utah for now.
Yeah, I'm taking Utah. I just do not trust Anthony Richardson. If he plays all 4 quarters, it's not going to be good for Florida.
No.
So,
No.
And Billy Napier is going to be a great coach. It's just not yet.
Yeah, just this is a tough opener. I have full confidence in Billy Napier. That's not the case. And Becky is taking the Gators, which means the Willis family are Gators. All right, oars. They have a lot of oars on their roster.
Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Go Gators! Oh,
so I won't back down. All right, here's a line I'm not backing down from. Kentucky minus 16 at home as they host the Fighting Ben Roethlisbergers of Miami of Ohio. I think it's a pretty clean sweep. We all got Kentucky except for Becky. She's got Miami of Ohio to cover the spread. Becky, explain yourself in the chat. But yeah, I think it's pretty unanimous on that pick. Georgia State travels to South Carolina. Minus 12.5, the Gamecocks. This one's a little bit tighter. This one's going to take a little bit more thinking. I think we're all on the same page. But Steve, who's your pick?
Who's the game?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
See, that's what I'm talking. Oh, fact.
Not Eastern Illinois.
I think the head coach at Georgia State is the guy that was the interim coach at South Carolina when Steve Spurrier left.
Yeah, Sean Elliott. Yeah,
and
he got the Georgia State job after that. Yes.
Yeah, and he's going to be ready for this game. This is going to be a debut for Spencer Rattler. I mean, I do think South Carolina is going to cover, and they're going to do what they need to do. But I expect Georgia State to play really well like they did against Auburn last year. I just don't know if they have the horses to last for 60 minutes.
Tennessee a couple of years ago. Too soon? That will never get old. Okay, so you can hit me with a dobnail boot if you want to. South Carolina is going to get it done. They're going to ultimately cover. But I think after the first quarter, you're going to wonder two things. You're going to be like, oh, are we sure about South Carolina this year? And, okay, Georgia State's going to make some noise in the Sun Belt. And then, the second half's going to happen and South Carolina's going to pull away. But then you're going to be like, oh, okay, that's South Carolina. Yeah, we get it. Yeah. And A and B, Georgia State, yeah, they're going to do pretty good in the Sun Belt. So, but I'm taking the Gamecocks here. Jeb.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's it's going to be a lot like we were talking about with Troy. I think was it Troy? Yeah, Troy. I think they're going to be a good team looking back at their season. It's just not going to start that way.
Yeah.
Although I'm not a big fan of Spencer Rattler, but I still think he'll do all right in this game.
He's in total show me mode, but this is not the game where that's going to matter.
Yeah, and people will be talking about him being back after this game, but
yeah. If this game was maybe a 17.5 point spread, I probably would pick Georgia State. I do think South Carolina can win by 2 touchdowns and cover the spread, so I'm picking South Carolina.
And Becky's got South Carolina as well, so that makes it a clean sweep. All right, so we have Alabama hosting Utah State, the Aggies of Utah State. They come in as 41.5 point dogs to Tuscaloosa. Steve, is that spread too big for Bama to cover?
I think it is, honestly. I think 50-10 does not cover, and that is absolutely correct. Any mistake defensively, I think week 1 comes back to haunt them a little bit. It's going to be a blowout. Alabama's going to easily win this game. I just don't think they're going to beat them by 41 points.
Yeah, I had Bama slated in there because, they're Bama, but I just think this game's going to get a little stale, and they're just not going to cover the spread, and it's not really going to matter.
Yeah,
like I don't think there's going to be any judgments. Like if Bama wins this thing by 38, it's just all right. Well, Bama's ready for Texas. Here we go.
Either Utah State is good or they're not. The line says they're not. Everybody seems to think they are. One of these things is not true.
Exactly, and I think Utah State will cover, and getting blown out by 38 points still covers the spread. So that's the scary part of it. I would not touch this thing with real money, but I would say that Utah State's probably going to cover the spread. Jeb?
And last season I had a very, very poor record when I picked against Alabama to cover any spread, but I'm still taking Utah State in this one because I just think they're too good of a team to get blown out that. But well, no, it could easily happen. I just don't think that'll happen the first game of the season here. Obviously, it's just a pick against the spread because Alabama's going to win easily. But that's what I think. I'm gonna pick them to cover.
Just take a money line here at this point. Jake,
yeah,
Bama can cover.
Yeah, easily. I think I said 56 to 7. And maybe a 56-10 game. But there's too much talent on Alabama's team, and even that second unit. I mean, Jalen Milroe ought to be starting anywhere else in the country, but he's behind Bryce Young. So I mean, he'll get his snaps in. He's going to lead them for a couple of touchdowns as well.
Yeah, and Becky's got Utah State as well. I just think Bama's going to get bored, honestly. It's just bottom line. They're just going to get bored. Saban's going to get bored. They're going to empty the bench. It's just going to be like the JV game is going to cost Bama the spread. I mean, let's be honest with you on that.
I got one win against y'all.
You can tell it's football season and we're getting there. Jake's ready to go. Line them up. Let's go.
Yeah.
We can cover the 60-point line. We got this.
Jake is going to do an Oklahoma drill after the show.
Let me tell you something real quick.
He's going to do an Oklahoma drill.
On our show Monday night, in the comments, we had a guy actually say he feels like this will be a 30-20 game. Now, if it's a 30-20 game, then Alabama is going to struggle the entire season. If it's that close,
that would be a bad sign.
Right. So if it does get, if Utah State scores 20, I don't care if they win 70-20. It's still kind of concerning.
Or that will be the only game Utah State loses all year because they're that good. You never know.
Right.
You never know. But probably not.
Yeah.
Right. Except when they play against Jake Hayner and Fresno State.
Might have Fresno,
WAC football or Mountain West or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, whatever they're calling it out there. Yeah. Cassidy said for Halloween we should dress up as our head coaches. Well, apparently, according to Cassidy, I don't have to really stretch that much to dress up.
You just got to put a hat on, she said.
Just a visor.
I have a Labrador.
There we go.
What if I call him Juice for a day?
And just so we're clear, I'm not shaving.
I was going to say Jeb had to shave, and I would too.
Beard there, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd also have to get older, much older.
I would.
Much shorter.
Yeah.
How tall are you, Jake?
I'm about like 5'10".
I'm not sure if Saban can ride roller coasters. Like he couldn't go to Universal.
Yeah.
It's debatable. All right, so let's get back on track. All right, Memphis travels to Mississippi State. Mississippi State hosting. They are 15.5-point favorites against Memphis. Steve, what do you see?
I see Mississippi State rolling a little bit. I see a defensive coordinator from Memphis that's going to try to show out and play man defense against Mike Leach. And we see what teams that try to play man against Mike Leach do, what it looks like, and it's not pretty. Mississippi State wins this thing by 3-4 touchdowns.
Memphis is in a bad spot, I think. They're going this way. And I think Mississippi State's going to exploit that. I think they're going to win big. Jeb?
Yeah, no, I agree. Mississippi State, we know they can put up big points when they get rolling. And this just seems like one of those games where that's going to happen. So.
I mean,
Jake?
Mississippi State had Memphis handled last year and they blew it. So, I mean, I know it was at Memphis, but I mean,
blew it.
So I mean, I think Memphis can cover. I still think Mississippi State wins, but I just think Memphis can cover that.
And Becky's got Memphis as well. I'm guessing that's just a lot of Mississippi State hatred.
I don't think Becky likes bells. Like the song Silver Bells, not her favorite Christmas carol.
What about Hell's Bells?
Oh, probably
She's
not.
like Hell's Bells.
Bells. For whom the bell tolls. No.
She is
that's
not.
a great song.
Carol of the
not
Bells?
Whom the bell tolls.
Oh, I love Carol of the Bells.
Jingle
too.
Bells?
Yeah.
Jingle bells, not her thing. No.
Not? Okay.
Yeah.
But she loves
all
Mike Leach.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? I mean, honestly, who doesn't?
He apparently on the teleconference today spent like 5 minutes talking about the finale of Better Call Saul.
I mean, that's about as Mike Leach as you can get it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not surprised at all. Yeah. Yeah, I hate those cowbells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mike Espy, who played at Ole Miss, came on my show. Subtle name drop, humble brag. I asked him, I was like, what is it like for a player to play at Mississippi State with those bells? And he talked about it. It was like a humming sound, a loud humming sound. And you can hear it like 3 days after the game. And I was like, that is probably not healthy, Mike.
Yeah, that's
No.
That's probably you probably get a concussion just from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I asked Israel what his least favorite road environment was, he said it was South Carolina. That was his least favorite.
Let's see. Who did I ask? Marsha Green. What was his favorite place to play? And it was South Carolina in 2009. He's like, that place rocked like anything. He played at LSU at night, played all over. But that South Carolina environment under Spurrier, that place was rocking. Because if we remember, that was like Connor Shaw and Marcus Lattimore and Alshon Jeffrey and those guys.
I remember that year, Georgia primetime got their ass handed to them. Anyway, so we move on. There's LSU hosting. It's a neutral site.
You're right. You're right.
Neutral site. They host Florida State -3. Steve, convince me, because we talked about this when we previewed it a little bit. Convince me that Florida State can cover this spread and can win outright. Convince me why. Tell me why.
Whenever Mike Norvell plays against an SEC defensive line, the way he runs the ball and the way it's packaged and the way they use it through their counters and different blocking schemes confuses a defensive line from time to time. And you can get a couple of big plays. And in this game, you probably need 2 big plays, 2 sustained drives, and you can win this thing 24-21.
Well, okay. All right. I just changed my pick there. That's a compelling argument. I'm taking FSU. Go Noles. All right. I think screw the talent discrepancy up front. I think that was the difference maker, but screw that. All right. It's gonna come down to Florida State kicking a game-winning field goal at the end of this thing to win it. So I'm changing my pick, changing course. Go Noles.
What if Florida State missed it wide right?
Oh,
Just that would be the most Florida State thing they could do.
I don't know. This game to me is just a toss-up. I really have no idea who's going to do
I
what
hope
here.
Florida State wins.
And that's I'm kind of rooting for Florida State too. But Florida State's been letting me down for years now, so I feel like LSU is just going to pull this one out, and people are going to be all up on Brian Kelly in his first year, thinking, "Oh, this is going to be great," and then they'll probably go on.
They just want to be part of the family.
Then when they get destroyed by Tennessee, they'll finally stop talking about them so much.
True.
My full prediction there.
I tell people all the time, everybody says Brian Kelly's not going to be a success in the SEC. And I was like, he's won every place he's gone to. He's going to win in the SEC.
And LSU is not a hard place to win.
He's just not going to beat Florida State this week.
No.
Jeb, you can Google that one. That was safe.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
That one's safe. That was safe. Okay. All right. A couple of the non-line games. A&M,
Jay
Sam
just made his
Houston,
pick.
Auburn.
Oh,
Jake has got sorry, Jake. I thought you were on. I thought you were on the. Thought you were on the FSU train here. All right.
I am.
I knew it. And then Becky's got LSU. Becky, get with the program, all right? Florida State, come on. All right, get with the program. Go Noles. Chief Osceola. Right. Chief Osceola, war chant. Jameis Winston stealing crab legs. Let's get it. Let's get going here. All
right. Jimbo Fisher not recruiting an offensive lineman for 4 years. Let's let this happen.
Come on.
But he's getting defensive lineman now.
Well, I mean, he paid $31 million for him. All right.
Yeah, better win. All right. So speaking of Jimbo, we got 3 non-line games that. Let's be honest, we're all unanimous on it. A&M over Sam Houston State, Auburn hosting Mercer, and Vandy hosting Elon. It's all unanimous. We're all picking A&M, Auburn, and Vandy, so no need to talk about those.
Vandy 2-0.
Yes.
2-0. Georgia hosting at a neutral site, Oregon. They're 17-point favorites. Can they cover that spread?
Color game, by the way. Color game.
It is a color game. Georgia's wearing the classic reds.
Classic red. Oregon's wearing all green with orange face mask. Puddles the Duck is going to be on site. doing all the stuff that he can require. It's going to be an absolute war. They're going to fight and go up and down the field for 60 minutes, and you're going to look up at the scoreboard at the end, and it's going to be Georgia 48, Oregon 7.
Yeah, but because they got Bo Nix quarterback, let's be honest. They haven't named a starter yet, but we all know who it is. It's Bo Nix. Yeah, Georgia, as I said, and Israel put it best, it's going to be like the Michigan game. It's just going to be just like the Michigan game. Just total domination from the start. I mean, they can't. They're not going to be able to contain Nolan Smith. Quavius is going to have the game of his life. I think some of these new starters, some of this defensive talent that you're worried about, they all got experience last year. We played 25 guys on defense in relevant minutes.
The green and yellow is going to look good, though.
The uniforms are going to be on point. Mm-hmm. And Oregon's going to be a force in the Pac-12, just not this week.
Valedictorian summer school
for them. This is a terrible matchup for them. So
that's the third time this show I've gotten that reference in. By the way,
no, I love it, Steve. Steve, you've been waiting on this moment for your entire life, haven't you?
Yeah, it's every
summer.
He brings
I
went
to high school in Mississippi. I'm like the ultimate valedictorian of summer school.
There you go. Mississippi.
Yeah.
McGee. I went to McGee High School, boy.
By the way, the Ole Miss does this thing where former players come back for games. Chris Mangum is going to be at Ole Miss this weekend. Fun fact, when I was a sophomore and they were hazing us, Chris Mangum held me down and shaved my head.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah. I got hazed.
Yeah.
They shoved ice down my pants. Cassidy, go Dogs. I love it. And she did the red and black hearts. See, she's dedicated to it. Thanks, Cassidy.
Well, we're sorry you're not feeling well, though.
Yeah.
I think
Georgia's
Georgia's in Alabama's fight song too, right?
Everybody's in Alabama's fight song.
Not Ole Miss.
And everybody stole it, too.
Georgia Tech is. I love that. That's one of my favorite things.
I do, too. I respect you for that.
Uh-huh. Just
Send
like
those Yellow Jackets to a watery grave.
Yeah. Just like you hadn't played them in 60 years. But let's do it anyway, okay?
All right. And finally, our games tomorrow night.
Hey, what about mine and Jeb's picks?
Oh, y'all are picking against Oregon? Yeah, Jeb, go ahead. Sorry. I got so excited there. Cassidy picked for you, Jake.
I didn't.
No, she didn't.
I didn't. I think she disagrees with him. No, actually, I don't know. I'm not a big believer in Oregon being in 11. I don't think they're going to be. I think they're going to be good this year, but not great. They made at least 3 or 4 games in their conference there, so I think Georgia will cover that spread. So I'm picking the Dogs.
Jake.
All right. As the only one on this panel who knows about great defenses and losing a generational talent defense like Georgia had last year, it's hard to replace them. Alabama's done it twice, and the year after has been a struggle. I'm not saying Georgia's going to win this game, but it's going to be tough. And that's no slight at Georgia, but I mean 17. But I mean, you're replacing a lot of great talent on that defense. So I mean, Georgia will probably still win, but it's going to be a closer game than what people are thinking.
Hey,
unless Bo Nix throws like 4 picks, which is very possible.
That's the most Bo Nix thing he could do.
4 picks, backyard football, and a 70-yard touchdown pass. That's a Bo Nix line, and you end up losing 48-7.
But I love Steve's reference. For 60 minutes, both teams are going to go down the field, and Oregon's only going to score 7.
Yeah, because Georgia's bend don't break. I mean, it's crazy. Like Georgia doesn't lose a whole lot of talent offensively. That's the scary part.
Yeah,
but you
lost George Pickens. You lost James Cook.
Did we lose George Pickens though? Really?
Yes, because he forced defenses to look at him.
He didn't play at all last year.
He did in the national championship game, and if he wouldn't have played in that national championship game, it might have been different.
No, I don't know about that. We couldn't stop the run in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Well, no, but it might have been different.
Well, you get a Reed Gilbert.
Yeah.
And you get Ladd McConkey. You get A.D.
I want 5 personnel. That's what I want.
You're probably going to get it.
I want 5 personnel. I want to line up Eric
05
Gill in the
personnel.
backfield.
You're gonna get it. You're
I
gonna
wanna
get
line
it.
up-
05
yeah.
personnel. It's gonna be empty formation, 5 tight ends.
And you still got
You're
Stetson
gonna get
Bennett,
it.
though. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah,
not
Stet
sold on
Quavis,
Stetson.
man.
If
He-
Stetson
he's-
Bennett didn't set up all of his NIL stuff after winning the national championship to set himself up for life, I'm done with him. Period.
You know he
Yeah.
did. He gained 15 pounds of muscle and got a tight fade and an attitude to go
Yeah,
with it.
that's true.
But what if his tight fade and attitude is like the opposite of Samson? Maybe he needed the frat boy hair.
Maybe so. I don't know. We'll find out.
Uh,
If not, we'll call in Carson Beck or Brock Vandegrift to finish the game and whatever.
Either way, it's like Stetson Bennett has really struggled today. Georgia has won by 6 touchdowns.
No, it's gonna be 48-7, and the fans have already fired Kirby Smart about 4 times.
Yeah, there's a 3rd and 12 that Oregon had no business getting. It's like Oregon's got 3 first downs in the first half. Back off.